That's just sports, baby.
Crowd goes wild, strawberry ice, bringing fire and style. Reds, Bengals, Bearcats, all in my zone. This is my stage, my mic, my tone. Boom, like a hammer, I'm breaking the game. Strawberry ice, you're gonna know my name. Sports Talk Thunder, hear the podcast roar. Cincy's line is kicking down the door. Step into the lane where the passion ignites. Talking sports all day and all night. From the field to the court to the roaring stands. Strawberry ice with the world in my hands. Boom, like a hammer, I'm breaking the game. Strawberry ice, you're gonna know my name. Sports Talk Thunder, hear the podcast roar. Cincy's line is kicking down the door.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, Iceman Jeff Trunapole. And as always, we're your sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. As you can tell, I'm trying to listen to the end of the Bearcat game, so you guys are going to have to keep me updated. But as always, it comes to you live from this wonderful place down here. It's the Ice Cave.
All right, shout out to my sponsors. They are Priority Lawn and Landscaping for all your lawn and landscaping needs. You need your grass cut, you need your shrubbery trimmed, I don't know, you need a paper patio, you need anything, I mean anything. Landscaping required. Think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Also, shout out to T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And of course, Meyer Window, Door, and more. I got them in my house. I highly recommend you get them in yours. They're energy efficient, great looking windows, easy to clean. Meyer Window, Door, and more. The website is MeyerCincinnati.com. And also shout out to my favorite brewery, Moorline Lager House. Get on down there, get you some delicious Moorline beer, some delicious Moorline food. And tell them I sent you. Moorline Lager House.
That's right. Shout out to all my great sponsors, Meyer Window, Door, and more, Priority Lawn and Landscaping, T Properties, and the Lager House of Cincinnati. Not Meyer, or not Moorline Lager House anymore. Trust me, I'm going to get the graphics changed here soon. But we're here on a Wednesday. Like I said, the Bearcats hopefully are going to win this game. I don't know if it's going to go overtime or not. I'm not sure what's going on right now because I had to turn the radio off because I have to start the show and talk to you guys. But I do want to start with this. What the hell happened last night? Maxx Crosby's not a Raider anymore. All of a sudden, Trey Hendrickson is a Raven. What in the world? Some shady stuff is going on here. I've heard so many different rumors that Trey Hendrickson and his family are in the building while they're talking to Maxx Crosby's family was in the building while they're talking to Trey Hendrickson about signing him. They're telling Trey that, yeah, we're going to sign you and Maxx. That's a lie. Then they're going to go, oh, well, yeah, all of a sudden Maxx's knee is messed up. They knew what was wrong with Maxx's knee. Everybody knew it. It's not anything new. They did. I don't care what they say. They did not find anything. They go, oh, my goodness, we have to get rid of this. Get out of this contract. No, what they realized was they lost half their damn team in free agency. Isaiah Likely's gone. A ton of the defense guys are gone. They got fleeced in free agency. And then they go, oh, we gave up 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby. Trey? Yeah. How much? Okay. Yeah. All right, we're going to sign Trey. Doctors, hey, find something wrong with Maxx's knee. We know there's medical stuff there. Find something wrong with it, okay? All right, good. Yeah, we got an issue. He failed his physical. Okay, great. Maxx, sorry, you're not going to be able to be a Raven because you failed your physical over stuff we already knew were there. Don't give me this crap. And then their owner is out. I didn't even watch it because it's all lies. It is all freaking lies. And I'm not mad at Trey. I don't care. I'm like, cool. And the thing is, the Ravens, cool. You got Trey Hendrickson. I love Trey Hendrickson. I wanted him to be a Bengal. But Maxx Crosby's better. He just is. He's a better all-around player. So they not only lost all these guys and then got rid of one of the best all-around players in football in Maxx Crosby, they signed Trey, Trey's great. I love Trey. He's not very good at defending run. Maxx is good at all that stuff. And Trey's older. So I don't give a crap. Go ahead. You guys can have Trey. Because let's see here. Our offensive line pretty much want to get him every single day in practice. They probably know his moves. So, again, congratulations, Ravens. You got one guy in free agency, and you improved your team. Awesome. Now to the Bengals. What the hell are they doing? Somebody please tell me. What the hell are they doing? Jake Lisco said it's time to crash out. I'm crashing out. What are they doing? Yes, the first day was great. The second day, they didn't do anything. The third day, they didn't do anything. There are multiple guys that the Bengals could have signed that would not cost them a whole lot of money. A linebacker, an edge, interior defense guys, all of them. Could trade for him, signed him, didn't do it. Now, I was coping with the whole thing with Maxx Crosby last night. Well, maybe the Bengals might sneak in there, which would be a total Bengals move to sneak in there and try to get Maxx for, I don't know, I'd give him the second round pick this year and first round next year. Hell, I might give him the first round pick this year, just that for Maxx. But that hasn't happened, and they haven't signed anything. So I'm a little depressed. And my Bearcats seem like they're starting to lose the game because it was tied when I turned it off. I need some help. Let me go to my guys here. Now, we're going to talk some draft, which I did a whole bunch of stuff on free agency. But we have the man with the plan for all the NFL draft. He's none other than Ian Cummings. Ian, what is going on, my man?
Nothing much. Doing good. I'm happy to be here so I can help give you some optimism because it sounds like you're going through it right now. So anything I can do. I
need some help. I need some serious. Another. This is a community here. We're here to help each other. Okay, I need some help here. So you're gonna help me with the draft, and then Landon. Well, Landon might be crashing out like I am. Let's get the Landon bell tour. Landon, what's up? Are you crashing out like me? What's going on, dude?
I'm crashing out.
Yeah,
I'm certainly crashing out. We are certainly crashing out, dude.
Hey, Ken's got a good idea here. Yes, for love of God, yes, go get Jalen Carter. I have no idea what it would take to get him, but sure. I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
Ian, give me some good news here. How are we going to, I don't want to say fix this, but make me feel better with the draft here? Is Peter Woods going to be that good? Because it seems like Peter Woods is the way the Bengals are pointing right now. What's your thoughts on just the latest updates on the draft here, what the Bengals might do?
Yeah, I think this year's class, it's tricky because with that specific 3-tech mold that you're talking about, this class is not quite as deep at that within that archetype as it is with like nose tackles, right? So I think Peter Woods is probably your target in round one. I know Caleb Banks is a very polarizing player for people. You either love him or you hate him. The physical tools are out of this world, right? But I think Peter Woods is a slightly higher floor if we're talking about NFL production. And he's a little bit younger too, right? I think he's got that going for him. If you can get the flexibility that we saw from his 2024 season, then you're looking with a lot of good things, right? But if you don't get Woods in round one, there are some players in the day two range. Grayson Halton from Oklahoma is a guy that I like a lot. I think he's got that similar natural leverage explosion profile. Landon Robinson from Navy is a really strong player.
I like him too. Mm-hmm.
He's a guy who can play from 2-eye to 4-eye and split combo blocks and double teams, but also provide a little bit of a pass rush infusion. So, those guys stand out on my list. Once you get past that, the pickings get a little bit slimmer, right? But even on the day three range, there are some players. Chris McClellan from Missouri. I like Tyler Onyedem from Texas A&M as a late day three guy. But again, you need to strike. I feel like if you're the Bengals, right? If you really need that type of archetype within your rotation and you don't have it long-term, especially, Peter Woods and Grayson Halton, those two are going to be your best bets. And Landon Robinson as well, I would say. I think that's the top three options for you in the draft here.
I love Landon Robinson. Now I'm looking at the chat here, and apparently Fuzzy Balls has not watched my show because I've said this before. The Bengals do not have to ask Joe to restructure his contract. It's already in his contract. They can restructure it whenever the hell they want. So, not to be sarcastic and not to be a jerk, but I've said that a million times on here. They don't have to ask Joe to restructure it. The Bengals don't want to restructure it. Landon, what do you got? Are we going to just fill this with a draft needs like Ian said? What do you got going on here?
I would certainly hope not, because that means that they didn't fill out all their needs in free agency, but they're on the cusp of that as we speak. So, chances are we'll probably be there. I love what you had to say about Landon Robinson, not just because of his name either, but because like he is just such a dynamic presence. He is the ultimate sleeper, I think, at the defensive tackle position in this draft.
Yeah, it's crazy. He didn't even get invited to the NFL Combine, but you don't really
It's
need the
insane.
Combine to verify the athleticism. I think he was on Feldman's freaks list with like over 23 miles per hour max speed at
And that's
5'11", 290, like 33-inch vert or something like that. So all of those things are there. And then in run defense, he's sound. In pass, as a pass rusher, he's got the explosion that you want, the natural leverage. He's not quite as long as other guys, right? So like you look at, a Kristen Miller, right, which he's more of kind of an even front nose tackle. But you look at Kristen Miller having the length and the hand strength to club guys the way that Robinson can't quite do, right? When it comes to his counter arsenal, it can be a little harder to decouple from players. But he's just really rock solid. The comp that came to my mind when I was watching him, and this player is a little bit heavier in the NFL right now, but Poona Ford, right? I think Poona Ford is a player who, again, you can weaponize him from 2 wide, 4 wide, even 1 tech in sparse situations, right? But he's a player who can fulfill different roles and provide more of that two-phase presence for sure.
Right. I think honestly, like if you're gonna go into the draft with this gaping need at defensive tackle,
big gaping hole. Sorry,
indeed. One that's bigger than TJ Slayton. But if you're gonna
Reader,
go
come on down.
Yeah, gosh, it is that. Like I would take DJ Reader in a heartbeat. I think honestly, if you go into the draft and you draft for need like they've done in the past, like let's just say that they take Peter Woods at 10, which I'll be frank, I'm a little bit higher on that than I think some other people are.
I'm okay with Peter Woods. I actually think Peter Woods would be a good pick at 10, to be honest.
Well, here's the thing. It feels like the consensus, right? And some of the guys who were more plugged in with the league, like Daniel Jeremiah, right? You'll see the mocks, and Peter Woods is slipping in some of these. Like there's some mocks where he's going late round 1 even. I think that's a little low for him. I think he's around the late teens on my board personally. So again, 10 is a little high, but I think you're banking on getting the 2024 version of him, right? Even in 2025, it's not that he was bad. I just think he took a slight step back. I think the consistency was a little bit of an issue. And in 2024, you saw those high-end plays, right? Those high difficulty pass rush plays, right? Like there was that one rep. I keep coming back to this against Pittsburgh. He was aligned out at 7 tech, and he was running the arc at almost 300 pounds, like, winning with club rips and combos, but then also using his linear explosion and natural leverage to reset the line and run defense and stack and shed, make plays in pursuit. Like those high-end plays were there at a volume that we didn't quite see in 2025. So you're banking on, can we get him back to that point, right? He's right now. You're going to get him in an NFL developmental room with coaches and veterans, ideally, to help build him up. So you're hoping that he gets to that point. And I think it's one of the better investments to make than most in this class. But also, if you take him at 10, when he's a player who might not be quite worth that right now, it is a risk. And you take those risks sometimes.
Exactly. And I think that's something that we've become so used to the Bengals doing is the thing. Like they did it last year.
Caleb Banks is a similar situation with that too. Yeah.
Caleb Banks, and like that's like that is the thing like that I feel like they could do at 10 that would be more in line with where they're kind of at, like banking on traits from a guy. That's what they did with Shamar Stewart. That's what they did with Miles Murphy, and he's finally starting to kind of pick it up. We'll see where it goes. I think with Peter Woods and what gives me that kind of like security in a way is because we have that prior production with him. We have the traits are there. The traits are there. They're maybe they're not as dynamic as Caleb Banks, but the production is there to match it. I saw someone say this a while ago, and I forget who it was, but it was a very good point. I know it's an entirely different position. He actually rushes towards this position, but think about like Justin Herbert when he was coming out. Like 2025 wasn't as good as his 2025. His last year before he entered the NFL was not as good as the year before. Chargers banked on that, and they hit. We'll see what happens with playoffs moving forward. That's what I think some people are kind of hoping happens with Peter Woods.
Hopefully.
There is that cause for concern, though, because of like how much he has slipped and what is going on there. Like like a little bit more transparency would be perfect. If that could happen, sold. Take him at 10.
There you go. Let me get this.
You could talk me into the idea right now.
Look at this $5 super chat from Fuzzy Balls. Why are people bashing DJ Reader? No one mentioned that he was double teamed more than any other lineman in the NFL in 2025 at 58% at all snaps. I mean, like I said, I'm okay with them getting DJ Reader, but right now I would like them to do something, because somebody just said, and I looked on Twitter that who was the Miami guy? I forgot his name already. He's gone. That somebody signed Chubb. Hey, I don't know if this is true or not. Chubb is now gone off the board. Maybe Wagner, but the Bengals may not want to go
Chubb
that old.
signed.
Who did he sign with?
Buffalo.
Ah, crap.
Well, are we talking about Bradley Chubb and Bobby Wagner? Are those the names here?
Yeah.
Okay, because those are different types of linebackers too. Chubb is a
Yes.
rush linebacker. Wagner's an off ball. But Boye Mafe is an interesting signing. I'm curious to see how they use him with Shamar Stewart and Miles Murphy. I think Boye Mafe. I was actually doing some research for another thing the other day about Mafe, and this past year obviously was one of his less productive years. But you look at the rotation that he was a part of, right? DeMarcus Lawrence, Uchenna Nwosu, Derek Hall. They had a very deep rush rotation in Seattle, and I think he's had a pass rush win percentage, a pressure percentage over 12.7 in all of the seasons, regardless of that, right? So still getting pretty consistent pressure within the limited snaps. But with the Bengals, you're wondering, given an expanded workload, how is he going to deal with that? Because he's not quite the size specimen that Murphy and Stewart are. So you're likely going to want him to rush and weaponize him more from wider alignments if you can more often. But that could be a really scary rotation if they figure out how to use them right.
Right. 100%.
Assuming the Bearcats lost, because hopefully somebody could tell me that, because Crip says Wes Miller has to go, which really going to take me off. This has been a bad day for Cincinnati fans here. But one thing, a crazy thing that I brought up at my rant at the beginning of the show. Is it crazy that this is a long shot, and with the Bengals not doing anything, I don't think it's going to happen, but crazier things have happened. Maxx Crosby failed a physical. Whether we believe him or not, he failed a physical. The Raiders wanted to. Now, I know Adam Schefter keeps saying all the Raiders can keep him and they fit him on a salary cap, which they can do all that. But I do believe that the Raiders are going to rebuild, and this is going to take a 2 or 3 year process to get to where they want to go. Max is going to be older by then.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Can the Raiders or can the Bengals sneak in and give them, I don't know, number 10, number 41, and maybe next year's first round? You know, not all three of them, maybe 10 this year, and that's it. And or you can do a combination of second round this year and the first round next year to go get Maxx Crosby. I mean, am I crazy to think that that's a possibility?
Does it align with their tendencies, though?
No, absolutely
you guys
not.
would know better than that. But
No, it does not. But that's what they should do.
Well, here's the thing too, right? After this entire fiasco, right? And different teams have different thresholds for what passes a medical check. Like some of them might think like the Ravens might say, oh, Crosby has a degenerative knee issue that we're worried about. So we're gonna renege on it, right? But another team might be willing to take a risk on that, right? So yeah, and Caleb Downs is another one too. Every player has something or another, right? To a certain degree. So it's in the eye of the beholder. And I think, but here's the thing, after this entire fiasco, I'm willing to bet Crosby's asking price and the Raiders won't be able to get quite as much for him, right? You know, I think there's going to be a lot of, because
he did fail a physical. Like I said, whether you believe it or not, on paper, he failed it.
So I don't even know if a first rounder is in the discussion anymore. We'll see what happens. But here's the thing. The Raiders also signed Kwity Paye. They brought back Malcolm Kuntz at edge too. So they were planning on not getting him back, right? I mean, they were like, we're going to shut the door. We're going to let bygones be bygones. Now all of a sudden he's back. You're right. He doesn't fit their timeline. I'm willing to bet he's still on the move eventually, but he's going to have to pass a physical. And this seems really Baroque, but like it wouldn't surprise me if a team's like, we could give you a second rounder, right? But if you give us less than that, maybe we don't pass as physical. You're back in the same. Like, I don't know, but I just know there's a lot of, we saw it with DaCosta. You never see what's going on behind the scenes, and they're not going to say it. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But the Raiders are in a tough spot. The Bengals would absolutely use a player like that for sure, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there.
They need one so desperately, and that would be the only way that you're actually replacing Trey Hendrickson. Other than that, you're not replacing Trey Hendrickson. It's impossible. Like I say impossible, but
nothing's
like,
impossible until we decided it. Oh, sorry.
I mean,
let's do my Animal House there. Sorry.
But that's the only way that you would replace Trey Hendrickson and his production potentially. Because the Boye Mafe signing, it feels more as though it could be better to just view him as the Osai replacement.
Yeah,
we saw Joseph Osai like start to kind of like take a bigger step than we had seen up to this point. When he was here last year in Cincinnati, he started to kind of rack up sacks, cost himself some money by getting injured there at the end of the season. Otherwise, I feel like he would have gotten a little bit more. Still cashed out, still got a pretty good deal with the Jets. Mafe, I think, has a lot more potential to be great. I think we saw that in 2023, and we saw the scheme shift happen in Seattle with Mike Macdonald, and that's not an indictment on Mike Macdonald, Boye Mafe. That is just a great coach and a good player. Like, sometimes it just doesn't connect, and that's why they were willing to trade him to Kansas City, but they decided to pull the plug at the very last second. Fast forward to now, I think that you're going to start to see Boye Mafe, because he has a lot of the similar production stats, save for like the double-digit sacks, to Trey Hendrickson when he was like signing in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. I think counting on him to become Trey Hendrickson again, I don't believe that can be your plan. I don't like it. I think it is foolish to think that. I think it should be viewed as more of an Osai replacement. Get someone else who can come in and provide pressure instantly alongside him. Maybe give the same type of like pressure that he can give. See if one of those two guys develops into your Trey Hendrickson of the future. And if not, there's my cat.
Let's ask the cat what they think about the Bengals free agency.
Yeah,
he would just tell you the same thing I would. He's been doing the same thing the Bengals have been doing. They've been going to God, I lost my whole train of thought.
Yeah, I'll go to comments here then.
Go ahead.
Edward, Ian, they want to know, Ian, do you think Woods is worth 10?
Let me see where he's at on my board. Yeah, so he's late teens, early 20s on my board right now. So I think 10 is a little high. But again, it prefaces with, I think you have to vet the mental aspect of it, right? Like, and I think we can look at the Clemson defense as a whole, because we know Clemson took a step down. I mean, this was a team that had championship aspirations in the preseason. Like, people were talking about them that way. And then to have such a letdown early in the season, like, I can understand if there's a little bit of a buy-in issue, right, for some people. But for some people, I think Woods wasn't impacted by it as much as other players like TJ Parker. I think TJ Parker, you saw the consistency with effort really take hold, especially in the early to mid stretch of the season. Woods was one of the more consistent. Even he had some lapses in energy at times, but I think the bigger issue for me from Woods' 2025 tape, we know that he beefed up a little bit in preparation for the season. He was a little bit lighter in 2024, and I didn't see the same hip flexibility or ankle flexion that I saw, like decoupling and prying past blocks. I think you still have the elite explosion, the natural leverage, the power element, right? The compact power. And I think, especially in run defense, like, he's shown that he can explode off the ball, get under blocks, dislodge down blocks, and just clog gaps and reroute runners. Like, he's got that ability for sure. And when he's on his game, the pass rushing, the flashes are there too. But when the fluidity and the flexibility takes a step down, and I still don't think he's quite that elite operator either with his pass rush bag. I still think he's looking for more consistency there. It's a gamble. It is. So I think at the end of the day, you got to get him in a room. And again, that's what the combine, the top 30 visits are for, right? So we'll see if the Bengals continue to vet. Get him in a room, see if he's about football, right? See if you're willing to invest in that developmental mindset, right? If he passes that check, then I'm willing to overlook the slight gap in my rankings. If it's me and I'm going off of my pure film evaluation, I do think 10 is a slight reach, especially if we're thinking about who might be available there, right? If Caleb Downs is there, right? If Mansour Delane is there, or Bain is there, right? Like Woods is one of the lower ranked guys in that pool, but he's also a guy that plays a very important position of need for the Bengals. And when he's at his peak, we've seen him play top 5 caliber prospect football. It just wasn't this past year, right? So can he get back to that? That's the main thing.
So you're saying it's a little bit of a reach, and he hasn't reached his full potential. So there's room. Sounds like a perfect Bengals pick to me. Sounds exactly what to do.
Here's the thing, too. With any pick, people talk about BPA versus need. I don't think it's ever purely either one. Like, it's a sliding scale, right? Like, Woods isn't the top ranked player on my board, but if the balance of need to BPA is sound enough and you're confident in your ability to get that player to his ceiling, which in Woods' case is really, really freaking high. It's the same way for Banks too. Banks is a little different.
Like when you say really freaking high, are we talking like Pro Bowl high or Hall of Fame high, or how high do you think his ceiling is?
It's tricky, right? Because as a draft guy, I don't like to speak in hyperbole. I do think you're looking at his peak potential. You're looking at a perennial Pro Bowler. You're looking at a guy, maybe not quite at the Jalen Carter level, but I think a really solid player. My comp for him is actually Nnamdi Madubuike from Baltimore. So I think, and the health has been an issue for him. Obviously, we don't know what's going on with the neck injury, but when Madubuike was healthy, I mean, he was a disruptor, but he could dislodge in the run game too. I think that's kind of the caliber of player that you're getting with Peter Woods at his peak. A guy who might not be this all-out dominant player, but it's still a very, very good functional player, a perennial Pro Bowler, and someone who's going to make your defensive line better.
Now, speaking of Carter here, we got a $2 super chat for $1.99 super chat from KP from KC. Get Carter. He's on his rookie deal. I keep hearing Bengals fans talk about getting Carter, and I know I've been talking about getting Maxx. Maxx actually got traded. Have you guys heard anything about are the Eagles seriously considering trading? Because they just lost Phillips. I thought once they lost Phillips, they're not going to trade Carter. So I don't know how viable this is.
There was a rumor a couple days ago that maybe they were looking into it, but I think Adam Schefter refuted it and said that the Eagles were never shopping Carter. So I don't know. It might just be a rumor.
I mean, that would be crazy if they traded him.
It's one of those things where, people see any shred of like any sort of rumor of like this elite guy being available, that they run with it. And no. I'd be so surprised. That would be worth like the 2 firsts right now, and then some. But it's not. It's not happening.
So we're kind of a lot of stuff going on here at the same time. Brad here is saying Cunningham was fired today, which is the AD of the University of Cincinnati. Brad, please tell me where you heard that from, or are you just saying that? Because I can't look at the phone right now to double check here. So, which I would be okay with that, because I think he's done a bad job. Now, my man Mon here says the Bengals can still add 2 to 3 defensive players that can help in 2026. They can. There's guys out there. It's not over yet, but I mean it's getting late early here. I mean, they need. Oh, I say he needs to be fired. Yes. Okay, he needs to be fired. You got me excited there for a second there, Brad. But so this is where I was at Monday. Well, Monday, I'm like, oh, man, we're not doing anything. All these guys I wanted to get or leave. And all of a sudden, the Bengals came out and signed Brian Cook, the Buffet, and then yesterday happened, and we got nothing. And this is still better than last year's free agent. I'll give them that. It's still not what we want, because I went from, like, Monday, I'm like, dude, this is an A. If they can add a linebacker and a couple of interior defense linemen here, this is going to be an A+ for free agency. Now I'm kind of like, yeah, it's kind of a C, maybe a B, because those guys are still impact players. I mean, we still have a starting safety who can tackle, which is what we want. We still have an edge who can get pressure on the quarterback. And I compare him a lot to how Trey Hendrickson was in New Orleans. There were guys in front of him, and he wasn't getting the snaps that he will now. So hopefully the ceiling is pretty high. So those two, I'm still okay with that. I'm not crapping on those. It's just the rest of the stuff that they haven't done. And it's not a lot of stuff we need to do, but 1 or 2 more guys would be great. I mean, that's how they need to finish this out. And get Joe Flacco would be awesome too, as Mike Madden says. Landon, what were you saying? Because we were talking about this on the phone. You're great. Because we were talking about this, was it last night or today? I can't remember. My days are running together. You're great as far as the Bengals, because you were kind of saying right now you thought it was a failure as free agency, right?
Yes, I believe it is a failure. I'm sorry if you can hear my dogs barking in the background.
We're all in our basements. It's okay. You hear noises.
Gotcha. But I think it definitely is a failure so far. Like I think it is if they don't add anybody else like of name. There is only, I'll be real. I expected at least 4 to 5 acquisitions on the defense that could come in and improve the floor of it.
4 to 5 is a lot. See, I was more like 3 to 4. I mean, that's like one less. I thought they might get at least 3 guys, but 4 to 5 is a lot for the Bengals. Now, I keep saying go back to 21 and 22 where they signed a whole bunch of guys, which again, free agency is not over yet. It actually officially started today, which they need to get rid of this whole tampering period crap because it doesn't. They're already talking to each other before you even had the tampering period. That's a whole other show we can get into, but. That's where I'm at. I'm like, I can't sit there and say it's a failure because they got 2 impact players. That's my only comeback to that. It can't be a failure because of that. But if they don't add, it's not what we wanted or what they needed.
And it slows down after the first wave. Like that happens every year. So I do think there will be potential buy low players that you can capitalize on. Like Dre Greenlaw just got released by the Broncos, right? And obviously one of that is health. He tore his Achilles, I think, 1.5 years ago, right? He came back for half of the 2025 season. But like players like that, like trying to get for the Bengals, I hate to say the word bargain bin deal because like this team needs to be more aggressive finding solutions, I would argue, right? But at the same time, you know, you got to be savvy too, you know, I think. And looking at Bobby Wagner, like here's a guy who's
I would love to get him.
Clearly, I'm like lukewarm on that because like if you can get him back to what he was 2 to 3 years ago, great. But I think he definitely lost a step this past year with Washington. So you worry that downward trajectory is going to continue to go, and then you're stuck with, you know, again the middle field dysfunction that you had last year too.
Yeah, I'm with Bengal Jay here. We've been having fun on Twitter. He said, "Ooh, man, Ravens are dirty," which they are dirty. I'm saying first and a third. For a second return for Maxx. Let's get Maxx his revenge second year. And that's the other thing. It's like just hear me out. And I know this is a pipe dream. This is my pipe dream, but just the story of Trey Hendrickson coming back to Cincinnati, prime time, probably Thursday night. Hopefully it'll actually be in Cincinnati and not in freaking Baltimore. Coming back to Cincinnati. And all of a sudden, we got Maxx Crosby, who got scorned by the Ravens. So he's going to come there and he's going to try to show them that his knee's fine. And he'll go down there and touch his toes in front of them all after he sacks Lamar Jackson. Trey Hendrickson will try to point to the sky after he sacks Joe Burrow or whatever. The story writes itself. It would be awesome. I'm like, for that alone, the NFL should make the Bengals trade for Maxx Crosby. They'd have a TV show right there. It would be great.
I mean, it would be. I for as much as I want it to happen, it's just I don't think it's realistic. It's one of those things.
I don't really either. I'm having fun on Twitter with it, but it makes sense though.
Well, it would be so fun because like everyone would be comparing them every single time they hit the field. Moment. Yeah, it would be insane.
Such heat between both of those edge rushers on the opposing team.
But the thing is, no matter what the Ratbirds do, their offseason has sucked. I mean, we can be upset with what the Bengals haven't done. The Ravens haven't done anything other than they signed Trey Hendrickson. Other than that,
they did do one other thing I liked today. I believe they brought in Jalen Hawkins, safety from the Patriots, who's a really good player.
They also did re-sign Chidobe Awuzie, who had a decent season for them.
But they lost their
as depth
all-world center, and they lost their best offensive weapon in Isaiah Likely. Who the hell is when Lamar can throw the ball when he's accurate? Who's he going to throw the ball to? Their best guy, their best weapon is gone.
They got Zay, they got Rashad Bateman, who didn't really do much this past year. They definitely need more in the receiving core and a new tight end too as well. I think they lost Kolar too, their blocking tight end, I believe. Yeah. So
they lost a lot of people. So That's
Do you
where I'm
think-
like, good, man.
Ian, do you think they could be like a spot for Jordan Tyson, Kenyon Sadiq?
I do, yeah, especially now that they've got the 14th pick back. I think 14 is actually a pretty good spot for both of those guys. I think Kenyon Sadiq, you look at what they like, and I know Jesse Minter coming in, there's going to be some new schematics now that Todd Monken is in Cleveland, but I think Sadiq generally fits what they would like, being able to, I think he needs to improve a little bit of his technique in line, but I mean, he definitely has the leverage for it, the compact mass and the explosion. He can block on the move too. So the versatility in the run game helps. And then he's got the speed to go up seams and stuff like that. So I do think that'll be a good spot. And then Jordan Tyson, if the medicals check out, that'd be a great spot for him too.
All right, my man Fuzzy Balls here. I missed your $5 super chat before. Sorry, the chat is blowing up, but I appreciate it here. So what about Jacob Rodriguez, Texas Tech linebacker in the second round, and Antonio Williams, Clemson wide receiver in the third round? Real sleeper. I like Jacob Rodriguez. I like his story. His wife's a badass. I mean, and
love Jacob Rodriguez.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy you want on your team. I don't know if I'd take him in the second. I might be more like third. I don't. Ian, you're the draft guy. What do you got?
I would take him second. He is actually a
right.
top 50 player for me. Where is he on my board? I believe. Let me sort by linebacker. I have my big board pulled up all the time because I'm always looking at it. He is okay. He's just inside the top 50 for me right now. So I think that would be a great spot for him in round two. On finalizations, he could rise a little bit more for me. Honestly, the biggest thing is the size, but he has everything that you would want for a guy who's average size, right? The instincts are elite. The athleticism it pops off the film, and the testing validated it. He's super fluid and twitchy in coverage. He's rangy sideline to sideline. And I think he does a pretty good job playing and dictating with physicality despite his size. I do think the shorter arms impact his ability to get off blocks at times and secure tackles. But even with that, you're looking at a guy that's always around the ball. I mean, how many awards did he win this past year? It was like
Damn
the
near all of
Nagurski,
them.
the Lombardi, like all of the ones that he could win. And that's kind of, it's a reflection. You turn on the tape and he's just so consistent in both phases of the game. And the Senior Bowl, it was something similar, right? The Senior Bowl, I think the biggest thing that people were thinking about, the biggest question that people had was the athleticism, mainly because of his size, right? When he's undersized, you don't want him to be a below average athlete because that's a double negative, right? And for me, looking at the tape, I never really had that concern. I think he's definitely rangy enough and quick enough and fluid enough. But at the Senior Bowl, man, I mean, he was just one of the best movers out there. One-on-one drills. I mean, it's slanted toward the running back and the tight ends, but he was doing such a good job of keeping depth, maintaining discipline, transitioning with guys, and having the speed to cover on wheel routes and seam routes, and then coming downhill too. He's quick firing, quick to react, and isn't scared to play above his weight class. So big fan of Jacob Rodriguez. I would take him round two, and I don't think he'll be there round three. I think he goes within the top 64.
No.
Okay.
I think he actually could be a candidate to go at like 41 overall to the Bengals in the second round.
Hey, I'm like I said, I like him, and if you guys got him drafted, you guys know more about. I know Ian definitely not that you don't land him. I know Ian does because he gets paid to do it. So he does this a lot more. So you're saying that gives me more confidence in drafting him there. But he would be just a great guy to add to this team. Now, getting back to what the Bengals could do in this free agency is they could go in all in on 1-year contracts with a lot of older guys. Like I know a couple other people put it in there, but Tom put them all in there. Clowney, Miller, Bosa still out there. I would be okay. I mean, because you're talking probably 1-year deals with these guys. That's the point they're at in their career. And they're not, an every down player, but with this pass rush, you don't need an every down. I mean, what we need is a rotation. And I always go back to what we had back when Zim was here as our defense coordinator. We had that rotation. Now we had a really good guy on the inside, Geno Atkins, which helped out a lot too.
Helps everything.
Yeah. So that would help get that, but the rotation, but getting guys like that, I'd be okay with that. I mean, that's an all-in move to go get them for 1 year, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, you're not gonna be out that much. What do you think, Landon?
Honestly, like I really like the idea of, and shout out to my man James Rapine on this. I like how he put Jadeveon Clowney. I'd be in on Jadeveon Clowney as that 1 year assassin. I believe is how he said it. 'Cause that's kind of what he is at this point in his career. He seems to just like be taking 1 year deals everywhere, getting solid production, then going somewhere else the next year.
Yeah.
And he had probably one of his best seasons last year, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he could come in and like alongside like someone like a Boye Mafe. I think that'd be great. If they did something like that, I think that would generate a solid pass rush. The only issue is, and this is why I continue to say that, like right now, this free agency period, it is a failure because yes, the acquisition of Brian Cook, A+, great. That was fantastic. Boye Mafe, I give it an A. Ascending pass rusher, showed off, just didn't fit the scheme in Seattle anymore. Fine, so be it. He's great. Great acquisition. You're betting on upside. That cannot be all you do. And that's the problem and why things are a failure at this moment. Because they came in with these glaring holes at linebacker, at the slot corner. And I know that they re-signed Jalen Davis. That's not enough. You need to do more there. With how that position is evolving in the NFL, you have to do more and have more of a plan there. You need another you need another edge. I think I already said that. I can't remember if I did. But you have this, again, the gaping hole on the inside. And we just talked about Geno Atkins and what all he did. They've not had anything on the interior since DJ Reader was in town and provided some upside as a pass rusher, but was an elite run stuffer. And I still think
the more thing was Larry O too. Larry O was, people forget about him in that Super Bowl. He was a big push up the middle too.
Well, I think what helped Larry O kind of hit that stride was having someone to like DJ Reader next to him.
Exactly. And you got TJ Slayton and Shamar Stewart could be that guy. I'm not saying kick him in there all the time, but Shamar Stewart could kick inside enough to do that, especially on third down. So that could be the move. But to do that, you need to add more pass rush so you don't have to have him on the outside the whole time. So, that's what they might be doing. I don't know what they're doing right now. Right. And I agree, T. Berge, it's not over yet. I'm not saying it's over. It's just frustrating watching all these guys go off the board that they could have had pretty easily. That's where we get frustrated with this whole thing.
Right. And right now I just put it at a D+. Hopefully they can raise it. I put the whole class at a D+ right now. Like guys who could raise that for me are guys like Bobby Wagner come in, like maybe raise it. I know he's not like the style of linebacker they need, but they need somebody with experience for those young guys.
In that room. Bar none, they need a veteran in that room to help.
What are your stances on Demetrius Knight and Barrett Carter after their first year? Because you guys have a better perspective of it than I do, watching the games week in and week out. What were the returns?
They're actually high on Demetrius Knight.
Yeah, they got better as the season progressed because, they got thrown in. They're rookies. They got thrown in right off the bat. So you're going to have your ups and downs, a lot of downs.
Right.
But they did get better. But that's where I go to. I think there's something there. I do think there's something there. But that's where I go to having that veteran to, hey, look, you're young blood. When this happens, let's do this. But, and that's where I'm like, you could have I'm to the point where we get a, which is where I was when I started this whole thing, started free agency, is get a veteran linebacker who could start, but maybe those guys beat him out. It's up for grabs, but you could still play him in there.
And competition is always a good thing.
Right. That's where I was at the beginning of free, where I thought the Bengals might be at. But what do you got laying the gut?
That's what I think I'm kind of like, I may be higher on Demetrius Knight than most. Like, I think he actually, I look at the Miami game, the game he had against the Dolphins, and there were lowlights still in there, but he started to kind of show up. He started to kind of show up in a better way. It seemed like he was figuring out the system more. I do not want him rushing the passer anymore at all.
It tackles like this.
Oh, that was just that's not his strong suit.
He tackles too high.
But I think you started to see him kind of figure things out more than I would say for Barrett Carter. Barrett Carter has left so much to be desired for me. Like
Barrett Carter's ceiling is way higher than Knight's, I think.
I think so too. It's just the bust potential is a lot higher as well.
True. I don't disagree with that.
He was a unique evaluation because they used him as like that overhang linebacker a lot, so you didn't always get to see him like having those traditional play. He could orient to one guy sometimes. And the coverage, I think the athleticism was definitely there. I think the range is there in run and chase roles. But in the NFL, where you have to parse through misdirections and engage at contact so consistently, that's probably where he struggled, right? He's kind of like the size getting washed out, and then just not things are moving a little too fast for him, I would assume too.
Right. And I think like it points to things not being good enough on the interior of the defensive line. When things aren't good enough in the trenches and guys are just getting to that second level so easily and so quick.
For sure.
And for rookie linebackers, it's just a recipe for disaster.
And that's another thing that can help them out. It's symbiotic.
It's all level. That's why like the 3 tech and that interior defensive line, that's why this defense has been so bad for as long as it has been. There's just not been anyone that's capable of generating pressure, taking on run defense roles as well as they could. And it's really ever since it's been that way kind of ever since DJ Reader left.
Mm-hmm. Now we got our super chat here, $4.99 from MB34012. We're lining up to draft Caleb Banks at 10 overall. Ian, I know you mentioned stuff about Caleb Banks. Go ahead. Speak on that, would you?
Ian, shut it down for me.
Shut it down.
Well, hey, my job is to provide both lenses. Okay, I'm gonna sit on. I sit on the fence way too much. I'm gonna do it here too. I will say we've been talking about how important the defensive tackle is for run defense. If you're going for run defense, Caleb Banks is probably going to be your last option. And I think honestly, like if you can get a guy like Kristen Miller in round 2, I love Kristen Miller. I know he's probably more of an even front nose or a 4-3, but again, I think just more than anything, the Bengals need an immovable force, right? Someone who can stand in there and keep gap discipline, and Kristen Miller has those heavy hands. But going back, and Georgia Bulldogs, there you go. But going back to Caleb Banks, right? He's a freak athlete, right? 6'6". I think he weighed in over 330 at the Senior Bowl, 35-inch arms, and the athleticism pops, man. I mean, the availability was an issue late in his career, right? And he never really got a chance to stack good games and, be consistent, especially in that final year where he missed most of the season. But going back to 2024, there are some games where here's a 6'6", 330-pound monolith who's rushing from 5 tech, right? And just all across the line, using that quickness to offset and the explosion to get up gaps and some really bright flashes of pass rush nuance too. And we saw that a little bit in the Senior Bowl as well, right? A little inconsistent with, I think, the pad level maintenance. And that's going to be one of the bigger things, the bigger issues on his tape. Being 6'6", especially in run defense and in team drills at the Senior Bowl, that was a big issue too, is he wouldn't be able to acquire leverage and get his base beneath him quickly enough. And those offensive linemen, they can win the pad level battle and reset at contact, and they can just drive him out of gaps, right? Drive him out of lanes. So, when pad level and point of contact sturdiness are so important at the defensive tackle position, that's where Caleb Banks stands to improve probably the most. I think pad level is a really major issue for him. So if he can hone that, then I think he could be worth the investment at 10 because he is the disruptive potential from different alignments is really compelling with his athleticism, the quickness, and the power capacity. But the floor in run defense is pretty low for a guy who's 330 pounds. And I do think being 6'6", pad level is going to be an uphill battle for him a lot, because some guys just can't get lower, right? If you're that tall. I think he has shown that he knows how to align his base to get there, but it's going to be a learning curve, right? So I saw the comment about Lee Hunter. I think if you want a nose tackle in round 2, that's a really good pick. I know the explosiveness testing wasn't great for him at the NFL Combine, but I think he shows a lot more juice on film. I think he's pretty light and nimble on his feet. His lower body he's built weirdly. Like his lower body is super thin relative to his upper body, but again, he's a guy who can just be a tree trunk, on double and combos. I think he's got the length to stack and shed and decouple. And then at the same time too, like he's got the heavy hands where he can club guys off the line and make tackles behind the line of scrimmage. But one of those guys, kind of like in the same lens of a Kristen Miller, right? He can be that orbit DT who you can just put in the middle and let guys kind of orbit around him and just be disruptive. So Lee Hunter's up there. Kristen Miller, again, probably one of the top guys on my list as well. But if you're going for Caleb Banks, you got to understand there's going to be an uphill battle with the pad level. And I do think it's a risk. It's arguably just as big of a risk as Peter Woods that we were talking about earlier, and maybe even bigger, because I think Peter Woods at least has that natural leverage going for him with the pad level battle. With Caleb Banks, it's a struggle every rep. When he's good and when his pad level is sound, he can be dominant. But again, especially against NFL guys who know how to attune that, it's gonna be a struggle. It's gonna be something that he's gonna have to work to correct.
Now, just to kind of connect this a little bit, I know that there's been a little bit of speculation about the Bengals maybe trading for Osa Odighizuwa. I don't think that'll happen either, but just to connect the dots from what you're talking about,
happen.
yeah, to connect the dots from like where you're talking about with Caleb Banks to that, like I've kind of thought about Caleb Banks in the past as kind of like that Osa Odighizuwa. Odighizuwa good against the pass, not stellar against the run. Would you kind of put him in that same mold?
Yeah, and I think Odighizuwa he's like 6'2", 6'3", I believe, right?
Yeah,
So
I think there is
there's a different, but no, I think archetypally you're on the right track for sure. I think you're definitely, we've been talking about how important run defenses, especially for those young linebackers needing to keep things clean so they can play fast and confident. I don't think Caleb Banks accomplishes that for you on day one, like a Kristen Miller does, or a Lee Hunter does, right? Or a Caden McDonald from Ohio State. I think he's probably going to go in the void between the Bengals 2 picks, but if they did find themselves in a position to get him, he'd be a good one too. But there's a trade-off, right? There's always a trade-off. You got to decide what you want more. But I think run defense, especially when you have so many guys like Ice, you mentioned earlier, Shamar Stewart, you can move him around a little bit, right? And NASCAR packages on third down, you could have him right over the guard, right? A 3-tech or 2-eye, but rushing from depth where you can use that hyper elite explosion of power. You want a guy who's sturdy and then can encumber multiple blockers, right? And if Caleb Banks is drifting too far upright right off the snap, it makes him that much easier to gather, right? So different things working against him. I think it's a trade-off. I think it's a big risk. Would I do it at number 10 overall? Again, kind of the same conversation with Woods and Banks. I would be a little apprehensive for either one at 10. I think your best case is if you're going to get one of them, maybe trade down a little bit. But if you do, just know there are risks involved. Different risks for each one. I think if with Peter Woods, you're getting better run defense, but also you're worried, can he be that Geno Atkins for you, right? I'm not so sure he can get quite to that level without high-end flexibility. With Caleb Banks, you're getting the limitless pass rush upside, but still refinement needs to be undergone in pass rush. And then also as a run defender, there are reps where he just gets washed right off the line. So you got to be really careful with that.
Gotcha. Now, one thing I want to address here, there is a Ravens fan in here, and I'm curious. He's laughing at us, and I would love to know what he's laughing at, because you got Trey Hendrickson. Congratulations. You didn't get anybody else. Your team still isn't better, I don't think anyway, than our team. So we're pretty close, I think, talent-wise, to be honest. So I'm not exactly sure what you're in here laughing about. And you're saying business is business. Well, yeah, okay, that's cool, but I just not sure what the laugh, because I'm more laughing at you guys for getting Trey Hendrickson, who I love Trey, but Trey's not as good as Maxx. He's not. I mean, I said that when, because I remember I had this conversation about, well, Maxx got this and Miles Garrett got this. I'm like, Trey doesn't play the run. Trey, I said this on the show. I'm like, that's why I'm like, I don't know if Trey's going to get what he wants. Now it's kind of worked out for him, but that's because the Ravens totally screwed the Raiders. That's the only reason this has worked out for Trey. So, again, congratulations. You got Trey. I'm not scared of him. Anyway.
I love it. I mean, and just Ravens fans, great. You take your victory lap, I guess. Yeah. But I look at like where the Bengals are currently right now with the edge rusher room. And yes, Boye Mafe, again, we've talked about it. Great addition. We'll see what can happen there. That second edge rusher spot, the guy that you're hoping can kind of develop into a force multiplier, was the word that was used constantly by Duke Tobin, everyone at the combine.
They have a t-shirt, force multiplier.
Ruben Bain in the draft. I'm all in. I don't care about the arm length concerns. I know that they're there.
I don't care.
I understand that, he's a lot of people are concerned about it.
Why?
We've seen a lot of guys like with short arms fall in the draft. a lot. But the way he wins with just his motor, his physicality, he doesn't need long arms, it seems, a lot of the time. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Like his stock.
Yeah, Ruben Bain. It's tricky because we know teams have strict thresholds. Some of them do at arm length anyway. So under 31, always a concern, but he is my 10th overall player. Exactly. So if we're talking about value at 10th overall, Ruben Bain's kind of hitting the nail on the head. Now, there's a reason that he's not higher, right? Obviously, the arm length, I factor in the percentiles, right, for the size score. So that has to factor in. But also, I think athletically, he's a really unique type of player. I think, he has this bounding explosion. He's not the most agile or fleet-footed, but again, he can cover a lot of ground working upfield to the apex. He can generate angle advantages really quickly with that explosion. And then the way he wins, you mentioned it, the ability to size up at the contact point. He's super well leveraged every time. Almost every time he's going to win the pad level battle. Tackle's going to be grasping above his shoulders, and he's got the ability to play low and stay rooted with that compact mass. And then his ability to, I think the best way that he counteracts his lacking length is by weaponizing his hips and his body weight with rotational torque at contact. I think he's so good at getting inside the tackle's chest, either with power or with hump moves or, with clubs and chops. And, he's so good at weaponizing that natural leverage and that body weight, and then also having the finishing flexibility. I think he's a little stiff in the hips sometimes, but he's got the torso flexibility where he can pry through and get to the QB or pry through gaps and make plays. And then you mentioned it, the motor is unyielding. And I mean, you hear him talk. I know you're speaking at the combine. He's like, I care only about football, just all day, every day. And you guys can say that and not mean it, but I think you can tell with Bain, the way he plays the game. I mean, he means it.
It was written.
It was written, right? It was written. So this guy, I think if you're looking at football character and the way they win, obviously the arm length threshold is going to be something that you're going to have to consider. But and especially for the Bengals, I think Trey Hendrickson was a really interesting mold because I don't believe he has high end proportional length, right? He's kind of a unique build where he's a little bit taller but a little bit shorter arms. So if you can get past that, and I'm always a proponent of the thresholds are important to know, but you got to see if they can counteract it. And I think in Bain's case, he does. I think for the Bengals, if they're going for this philosophy of, alignment versatility as well with Bain, you can play him at the strong side 5-tech. You can play him from depth where he has a runway to accelerate and generate power, or you can slide him to 3-tech or 4-eye on occasion, right? I would not want him doing that consistently, because I think he operates better with a runway. But I do think on a situational basis, right? Or if, again, we go back to the NASCAR packages on third down, just move these guys around, create some chaos, and make sure that the offense doesn't quite know what they can expect. I think Bain plays into that really well. I think he's the proper value at 10th overall. So it, again, depends on who's there, but I think he's one of the prime candidates.
See, right. and I love it. And also we have breaking news.
Oh, we do?
We were just talking about Osa Odighizuwa. Well, Cowboys are trading Osa Odighizuwa to the 49ers.
Oh,
so there you go.
There we go.
I thought it was for the Bengals. Like, dang on it.
Yeah.
Now I'll get to this. Matt here said, can you explain how we have a better future than the Ravens? We got a better quarterback. We got a better 2 wide receivers. We got a better tight end than you guys do now. Our running back is you guys better on running back. Your defense is there's a lot of ways I could say we're better, or at least the same. I'll put it that way. I don't think it's the Ravens and the Bengals. It's more like the Ravens and the Bengals. I mean, they're not, like I said, what we split with you guys last year. So I mean, it's not these people that are jumping on here like, oh, the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl. It's just as stupid as when the Steelers fans are going, oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl. We got Aaron Rodgers. Nope, you did exactly what I said you're going to do is go in the first round and lose. I said you can go back when they signed Aaron Rodgers. I'm finding it on my show. I have no idea what show it was, but I did say that. So, the Ravens, I don't think have gotten themselves any better. I actually think they've gotten worse, to be honest. I mean, or they're at least the same. They haven't improved much. Their pass rush might be better, but that's really it. I mean, I don't know.
I will say I do wish that we had Derek Harmon from the Steelers. That guy's that guy.
Derek Henry. Derek Henry, you mean?
Derek Harmon from the Steelers.
Oh,
defensive tackle.
Oh, defensive tackle. Yes. I would like him. Yes,
he pivoted to the Steelers. He caught you off guard.
Yes.
Derek Henry, while I would love it, yeah, sure, cool. I want defensive tackle. I'm tired of talking about defense. It's
Well,
the same
it's
as
like-
the offensive line for the longest time.
which we don't have to talk about that anymore. We got the same offensive line and they got better. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. And,
I like that they brought back Reisner.
yeah,
very much.
Gerald, you're welcome. I don't know what you're thanking the Bengals for, but you're quite welcome. Because the Bengals didn't give you anything. If you're a Ravens fan, the Bengals had nothing to do with this. but we'll take it. So you're welcome there. And yes, they're just saying here, 49ers got Osa, how do you say his name? I don't have to worry about saying it. He's
Osa Odighizuwa.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, boys. We've been good. You want to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say I went to the Senior Bowl that he was at, and I think that class also had like Adetokunbo Ogundeji, Levi Onwuzurike. So I spent so much time practicing those names because I knew I'd get asked about it. So it's ingrained in my brain.
That deserves applause.
Onwuzurike, dude.
Yes.
I'm butchering it even saying it.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I practice it so much to prepare for that. It's hardwired in my brain now. You know,
It took me a while to pronounce Chidibe Awuzie, and now I can say it. And he's
dude. I don't know.
You've been a like shelter of education for me.
10 times in front of the mirror every morning. No, I'm not. Not anymore. We're good. We're good.
I love it. Well, boys, we've been on for an hour so far. I appreciate you guys jumping on. This has been fun. I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did. Ian, go ahead, plug some stuff. Tell everybody where they can follow you. And Ian knows his stuff. He's got all kinds of stuff. He's putting out all the time on draft stuff on Twitter and different stuff like that. But go ahead, Ian.
IC_draft is where you can follow me on Twitter. I'm
Look, you got a $2 super chat for the pronunciation. That's even better.
Hey, let's go. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's the payoff it feels good, man. I a lot of practice went into that. But yeah, IC_draft on Twitter. I've been posting clips. I need to post more. I'll be posting more often as we get closer to the draft. But any draft questions you have, feel free to tag me and ask, and I'll be responsive. At PFSN, so Pro Football and Sports Network, PFSN, for those of you who don't know, I help curate the mock draft simulator there. So I update the rankings. I help with the team needs updates. We're getting more and more reports in there as well, like player write-ups, so you can have an informed kind of experience as you're going through exploring different outcomes. And then we have an NFL draft hub that we're also working on, and we have composite and sub-trait grades that are in there, and those are my grades. So I watch the film. I have a sub-trait framework where I grade each player by, I try and go microscopic with it. So it's our first cycle doing it. It's been a lot of fun, but also open to feedback on how we can improve it. So check those out. Let me know. And just happy drafting. We're getting closer.
Exactly.
I love it, man. I love it.
Ian, I'll get you back. I'm going to get you back on
Yes,
here
sir.
again. And
Yes, sir.
We'll actually talk a little more draft, but we have free agent stuff going on that we had to discuss. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you pivoting and coming on this ride with us. So make sure you guys follow him. And I hope maybe I'll see you next week. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, I've got flexibility all the time.
There you go. Thanks, brother.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, Landon, plug some stuff before I let you go, brother.
Appreciate you as always, Iceman. Y'all, if you want to follow my work, I write for Cincinnati Bengals Talk SI.
A little group around here. You might have heard of a guy named James Rapine, your boss.
Just a little bit, just a little small group, A
little small group.
I hold my AirPods. But I'm nitpicky about everything I do on camera. But I have a Twitter over at x.com, Twitter, whatever they call it, Landon_below. I will post articles that I write over on SI all the time. Obviously a bunch of like comments that happen about the Bengals. Like I'll cover everything that's happening. Hasn't been a whole lot of positive right now just because nothing positive is happening. For the Bengals.
Not over yet, Landon. It's not over yet.
We'll see, man.
Oh, I'll keep telling you that. I'll keep telling you.
You're keeping my head above water.
I'm trying.
Appreciate you always, though, Iceman.
Absolutely, brother. Hey, what was the last article that you wrote? People can go check out. You got that out there?
Yeah. Last article I had over on Bengals Talk SI. I believe it was a piece detailing. Let me just see here. Scrolling.
You got one coming up soon about how great this offseason was?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something talking a whole lot about how magnificent the offseason is as a whole. But essentially, last few pieces I did, it was a bunch of free agency profiles about guys like Jalen Phillips, Boye Mafe. There's been stuff going on from guys like Zach Presnell over on SI. He's been killing it over there.
Mhm.
He's been getting out articles on, Arnold Ebiketie news, possible trade scenarios, that kind of thing. Highly recommend you check it out. We'll see. Hopefully we have some better material to write for here soon about.
Hey, you can write something about Jake Browning going to the Buccaneers, which that happened earlier today. Maybe we're right about Joe Flacco coming back or Andy Dalton.
I actually think that is actually more possible than people think.
I will put it this way. I said this from the get-go. I think if he doesn't have a chance to compete for a starting quarterback spot, I think he's coming back here. I don't think he's going to go, as long as the money works out, because they always got to have that with the Bengals. I don't think he's going to wants to go anywhere else to be a backup quarterback other than here.
Right.
That's just my opinion. I mean, he's at the end of his career. He had fun here. He gets to throw to Jamar and T, and got a chance to hopefully win a Super Bowl. So that's what I think.
Well, if you look around, a lot of the quarterback jobs have closed up.
Right, exactly.
Daniel Jones returning to the Colts.
I was surprised at that one. How much they paid him?
Oh yeah. Oh, they paid him big time.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones going back to the Colts. You got the Falcons taking on Tua. Vikings are going to take on Murray. I'm just waiting for that to drop. I know that there's mutual interest. He could end up signing somewhere else, but Dolphins ended up signing Malik Willis. A lot of the spots, I would keep an eye on the Cardinals. I would keep an eye on the Cardinals job because right now they just have Gardner Minshew and Jacoby Brissett.
If you had a chance to go be a starting quarterback for the Cardinals or a backup for the Bengals, I might take the Bengals.
I know that, but they do have a good plethora of weapons.
They do, yeah, but still the Cardinals. So.
Oh, I know. I would say the same thing, but I could see him operating with that agenda. I could also still see. I know that there's interest from the Raiders on Cousins. But I could see the Raiders taking on Joe Flacco to use him as kind of be like the mentor for Fernando Mendoza.
Right. And that Kyler Murray, I think he's going to Minnesota. That's
no doubt.
That's where I think that's not a hot take. I think that's pretty much where he's going to go.
It's Minnesota Stars.
Yeah, Minnesota needs a quarterback, and Tua. I take Kyler Murray over Tua is what I would do. And Atlanta signed Tua is just crazy to me that they signed two injury-prone quarterbacks. So that'd be.
I mean,
I don't know why they didn't try to keep or restructure or keep Kirk Cousins. I mean, and just have him run the offense.
Well,
that's
a different way of thinking about it. And I heard this while I was listening to the Rich Eisen show. And it makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. For the Falcons, and yes, Tua has his injury concerns, so does Michael Penix. But there's not really a schematic way, like nothing needs to change in how the football is being thrown.
Right.
Like they're both lefties. So they both kind of fit that mold. Like one gets injured, you just go to the next who's lefty. You just pray that the other doesn't get injured.
Right.
And then, well, I guess maybe you can just try to give Boomer Esiason a call.
There you go. The blonde bomber, the man.
I miss him.
Right. Landon, you're the best, buddy. I appreciate you.
I right back at you, Iceman. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Make sure you check out Ian's work and Landon's work. They do a great job.
All right, shout out to my sponsors. They are Priority Lawn and Landscaping for all your lawn and landscaping needs. You need your grass cut, you need shrubbery trimmed, I don't know, you need a paper patio, you need anything. I mean anything. Landscaping requires. Think Priority Lawn and Landscaping. Also, shout out to T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And of course, Meyer Window, Door, and more. I got it in my house. I highly recommend you get them in yours. They're energy efficient, great looking windows, easy to clean. Meyer Window, Door, and more. The website is MeyerCincinnati.com. And also, shout out to my favorite brewery, Moorline Lager House. Get on down there, get you some delicious Moorline beer, some delicious Moorline food. And tell them I sent you. Moorline Lager House.
Of course, as always, shout out to all my great sponsors, Meyer Window, Door, More, Priority Lawn and Landscaping, T Properties, and of course, Cincinnati Lager House. It's not Moorline Lager House. Trust me, I'm going to get it changed here soon. But go down there and drink some delicious beer. The grass is growing. You need some landscape stuff. Give Priority Lawn and Landscaping a call. And if you want to do windows and doors, Meyer window, door, and more. Yes, it's not over. Just like a couple guys, they have plenty of money here. Ken says they have $25.5 million left, $25.5 million under the cap. That's without doing any restructures. So yes, they have money. This can happen. It's not over yet. Be patient as always, as much as we can, because really there's nothing we can do about it other than just come on my show and complain about it. Which you guys can do that tomorrow too. I'm gonna have Richard Skinner on tomorrow for Local 12, and he will have a lot to say if you know Skinny, and he's not going to pull any punches at all. So hopefully, but they're going to sign somebody. We'll see. But thanks for watching. I'm a live show on YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch, Instagram. You can follow me on all those, along with Threads and TikTok. And do me a favor, check out my Substack. I do write some articles on there from time to time. And yeah, check out the podcast. If you guys don't want to listen or watch for an hour, 10 minutes, you're, I don't know, going to the gym, driving in the car, I don't know, going for a walk. It's getting to be nice weather out there. Check out the podcast. It's on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitch Away, pretty much wherever you get your podcasts. Do me a favor. First of all, listen to it, then rate it, like it, review it. Leave a 5-star review and a comment. Some more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. Other than that, see you guys tomorrow. Remember one thing and one thing only, that is Who Day for life. And everybody throw it up. That's just sports, baby. See ya!
Another great show. You guys still here? The show's over. You can come back tomorrow. I'm out of here. See ya.